So here we are going to say parametric wall and position it on a reset. So this is a empty game object. So you right click, create it empty, and change the name to this. And in the scripts, we are going to create a C# script. We're gonna call it parametric wall. It doesn't matter, but we just call it like that. And click on this and add the script here. So give me 1 second. Okay. For this one, we are going to just for now hide it, just for the sake of showing the first exercise. So we have this person. We're going to create some a simple parametric wall, a brick wall. The exercise is to give you a quick understanding of how to instantiate multiple geometries. So double click on it. So here, before we have any, so these two slash, if you add two slash, it's called commenting. So you comment out something to make it into a comment. So if anything is green or after two slash, it's a description. It's not a script. So you can ignore it. You can add any comment by yourself to have some descriptions. So whatever script you see after two slash, it's not going to be calculated. Okay. So you wanna just type in public game object and brick prefab. So save it, and after you save it, this is a public. The reason we say public is that after you save it, whatever is public, it is going to show in this area. So we just named it a brick fabric, and we requested a game object to come here. So this, you can now link a brick to this game object. So what we are going to do is we are going to create a brick object. So we are going to make a 3D cube. And this cube will be on a 0, 0, 0 position here. And the scale of this one is going to be, okay, 2, 1, 1, 2. Okay, like a small brick. And I'm going to also bake the light again. So go to Window, Render Light Setting, Render Global Illumination, Bake the illumination turned off, Generate Lighting to give a bit of brightness. So make everything white. And this is a prefab. This is a brick model, yeah? So I'm going to make, say, brick here. All right. And there is something called prefab. It's a notion that that you can actually create copies with same properties. So what does that mean? So apart from just models, we normally also have sets of prefabs that are created from anything, but you can actually save this in your project as a brick prefab. So once you drag it into the SS folder, it becomes blue. So when this becomes blue, this thing becomes prefab. So you can actually delete it. You can copy and Control D to make copies. So why making a prefab and copying that is important? Why is that? It's because they will possess same property, same script, and same everything. So basically, you guys had some problem. For example, when you added a script to rotate this thing, it was rotating around from a world axis. Yeah. So you had that problem. So I'm going to test that here. So I have this thing here, and then I have a script for sample cube behavior, which in this one, I only have the rotation. So let's try to put that in from here. Let's try to bring that to this prefab. So you can kind of understand that we have how many prefabs we have. So we have 5 prefabs, and I put the script only to the first prefabs or second prefab, brick 1, right? Which means if I play, only this one should rotate. Okay, now because this is actually rotating from y-axis by its center, but there can be a very good chance that sometimes they will rotate from any other axis. So how to make this behavior into a kind of populated properties? Don't add this in the individually to one prefab. Instead, we are going to double click on the brick prefab or go to the prefab settings by clicking on this arrow, and it's going to send you to this page. So in this page, you can see that the brick is actually centered very well to the 0, 0, 0. Yeah. And if you add this behavior here to the brick, add the behavior to the brick. Yeah. Then you applied this property, this brick behavior component to every single brick prefab. So if I go back to my scene now and play this, they will all rotate with same behavior now. You see that? So that's why making it into a prefab and understanding the notion of prefab is quite important. And I'm going to go back to my parametric wall script, and I'm going to use brick prefab and drag it in here. Yeah. And then I'm going to go back to my script. Okay. So now this object is actually possessing a brick prefab, which I can now instantiate. So the instantiate meaning that you make a copy. I can make a copy of a object on a position and a rotation. So I'm going to make two in a rotation. And I'm going to create two factors to store this position information and rotation information. So position information should be a vector 3, space and position is a new vector 3. And I'm going to put any number. So first maybe can be XYZ, right? So it can be 1, 0, 1.0 F, 0.0 F, and 2.50 F, any number. And the rotation will be quaternion. Don't worry about it. If we don't want to do any rotation, we can just say identity. So that's it. So this identity quaternion is a default quaternion rotation. And if you don't know any rotation that you want to add, then just say quaternion.identity. And we made a position as a vector and save. So I save this script and run it now. And it made a copy of the brick on the position of 0, 0, 1, 0, 2.5. Sorry, not this one. 1, 0, 2.5. All right. We can make another one. So I'm going to put this next to. We can make a copy. Actually, we can make a copy, Control C, Control V. You have to name it to something else. 2, position 2, rotation 2, position 2, and rotation 2. And you can just change this number to something else. Maybe say 3.5, maybe 5.8, something like that. Save. And play. And now it instantiated two objects, right? So that's how you can actually very precisely control where you want to place the stuff. Okay, just for now, I'm going to turn off the disable the behavior of rotation. So if you want to do that, you can just click on the brick inspector and just turn off, disable the simple cube behavior for now. You can always turn it back on anytime. And if I play now, I don't move, yeah? Okay, so if you want to change the prefab geometry from a parametric wall brick to maybe some other information, like my house object, you can just drag that in and just change the prefab to something else. And now you have two houses instead of two bricks. Does it make sense? Okay.
It does.
All right. So I can also disable the movement of the house. Okay. Now maybe the houses are too close, so I can also move them, make them more separated apart. And with this principle, you can create a lot of different houses, isn't it? Right? So let's do that. Let's try to let's try to create the brick wall first, and then see how it can actually. So I'm going to change this back to brick. And what if you have a lot, you want to do many times? So if you want to make 3 of them, do you have to always copy paste manually for hundreds and thousands of them? That's a lot of work, isn't it? So let's say I have this third one. Now if I play, I should see 3 of them. Okay. But what if we want like hundreds of them? That's gonna be a lot, right? So for that, we can introduce a concept called looping. So the main basic syntax of loop is called for loop. So for that, we are going to say for, just follow me for now. Int I is 0. I is smaller than 10. Let's make 10 of them. I plus plus, and then curly brackets, and move these, Control X, move whatever you want to repeat inside this curly bracket. And by default, it's going to give you a space so you can see that what is under what. So these 3 lines will get repeated 10 times. So if you see now, if I run this one, save it and run it, you actually see 10 of them in this hierarchy, but because their position did not get refreshed or did not change, so they're all positioned in the same position, right? So we want to do something to the position. Actually, what's really happening here is there is this number called I is increasing by 1 until it becomes 10. So actually I is changing from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So that's why you can actually use this number so to do something to their to their position. So now because I have this I wanna maybe have Z direction, so maybe let me just show you what I wanna do. Maybe what I wanna do is I want the first one to be in this position, but the second one to be in this position, the third one to be in this position, the fourth one to be in this position. So what does that mean? So the Z value should increase, isn't it? The Z value should increase by something like 2.5 or something, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make all of them start from a 0, 0, 0 position, if I may. You can start from anywhere, of course. I'm going to let a 2.5 or 2.2 F times I to be added every time when I start, when I instantiate this brick. So if you play now, you see that every brick is actually increasing by 2.2. Do you see that? So this is repeated 10 times. I can also add some rotation. So in order to add the rotation to this exact brick, you have to declare a name for this. So the one that we just created is a game object, and say current brick is an instantiated brick, and I'm going to rotate this one. So this one we already did it. So say dot transform and rotate, and we are going to rotate I for now. Say F, something like this. So they will be rotated. The first one will be rotated 0. The second one will be rotated by I1, third one by 2, fourth one by 3, and so on. So each of these bricks will get slightly rotated. Do you see that? If you want to increase that amount, you can say maybe times something like 2.0 F. So you increase amount of the rotation. You can also increase it by 5. You can see a lot. Okay, I have to save it and then play it. Yeah, something like that. Does it make sense, everybody? Okay, great. All right, so we just created the one row. You can also create like a wall as well. So we are going to maybe nest this again by adding another for loop. For int, now in this time j 0, j is smaller than 20, j plus plus. And we have to put this one cut and paste it on inside this curly bracket. This by doing this, you are doing the first row 20 times. So there will be 200 of bricks. But now, because we need to change the rotation of y-axis instead of z-axis, so we have to add something here. Maybe say 1.2f times j. So they are going up, but the rotation is not affected by z direction. So I have to save it and then play. Now you have a wall, but the rotation is actually the same because the z value is not considered. So in the rotation, we're going to take consideration of j. So the rotation will be actually affected alongside the z direction as well. So it's actually changing the rotation. And this mathematics can be changed by you, however you want to have this affected. Does it make sense? Okay, great. It's really good that you all understand really well. So, okay, so this is the first really simple exercise of instantiating things. All right. So let me just have this parametric wall script saved and shared. Let me pause the recording.
I have a quick question.
Yeah.
How did you do it so that